For the last 3 days, Beacon of Hope has been hosting various events all centered around the children in the community, specifically the orphans and vulnerable children. The first day was Holiday Bible Club, and around 300 kids showed up. The theme of this year's Holiday Bible Club was peace. Beacon of Hope and Kenya as a country are really trying to promote peace right around this time, especially with the upcoming elections in March. If you remember back to the elections in Kenya in 2007, because of some corruption in the government, there was all kinds of rioting and killing and looting. Hundreds of people were slaughtered in the streets, and so it's really important, especially now, for these kids to be learning and having peace just be emphasized.
So the Holiday Bible Club started in the morning with praise and worship. One of the older youths got in front of everybody and led the worship, which was very exciting and awesome to see a young person being so involved. And right after that, we had craft time with the younger children. We colored dove photos. And for the older children, they had lessons about peace, and they also did some drawing. After the craft time and the lessons, the children all got together and we had a huge scavenger hunt. It was very exciting and there was lots of smiles. The kids got plenty of candy and some prizes also. After the scavenger hunt, we had the opportunity to play some really fun games.
And we also had a bunch of relay races, sack races, egg and spoon races. But my favorite was a relay race that I got to introduce the kids to that they had never played before. And that's where they actually have to run down to one end of the field, put their head on a stick, start spinning around in circles. They have to do this 10 times and then try to race back. The kids are so dizzy and disoriented by the time they get done spinning that most of them are tripping over each other, falling into other kids, running into trees. It was so much fun.
7, 8,
10. Okay.
9, 10.
We also had a raffle for the children. All the children had to answer trivia questions, so they all pertain to either the verses that we learned during the lessons, or they had to answer certain questions about the Bible. So the second day was OVC Day. This stands for Orphans and Vulnerable Children. These are children that either are infected or affected by HIV and AIDS. Some of them don't have food, some don't have clothing or shelter. So there's just certain elements that they're lacking that qualify them as an OVC. This morning we had devotions and we also had praise and worship again. The kids also got together afterwards into small groups and had lessons on skill building and talked a lot about peer pressure and how peer pressure can really impact the decisions that you make.
In the afternoon we had a talent show, and this was a really fun part of the day. All the kids got up and some of them were rapping, others were singing songs or dancing. One of the kids got up and started break dancing in front of everybody. They also at the end had a catwalk, which was really fun, pretty hilarious, and they even were able to secure a guest star at the very end. The third day was the Day of the African Child, which is an annual celebration here in Kenya and actually all throughout Africa that commemorates the Soweto uprising in South Africa that occurred in the summer of 1976, when thousands of South African children walked out of school in order to protest the inferior quality of education that they were being provided, and also the fact that they were being forced to learn in a different language. Hundreds of children ended up being killed in the streets by police officers, and this day has become a way to not only remember those children and their bravery for what they did, but also to serve as a reminder that poverty and that discrimination are still both huge problems here in Africa.
To celebrate the Day of the African Child, we had games in the morning.
Hey.
After games, the children all got together and we had some presentations from the children, some more singing and dancing. After this, it was lunchtime and all the children went home for the day, and we were very worn out, but it was such a great experience just to be able to hang out with the children and to get to know a lot of the children, and we really enjoyed just spending time with them and getting to kind of see what life was like for them. What I enjoyed most about this whole weekend was actually the behind-the-scenes action. We got to work with a lot of the youth that are part of the OBC program, and they were from the ages of 15 to 21. And it was really just encouraging for us to be able to see young people wanting to be involved with even younger children, just to be good role models and just to help out with an event that was so big. And we really developed some really awesome relationships with these young children, and hopefully we will continue to be able to keep in contact with them.
One of the most powerful moments for me during these last 3 days was during one of the relay races where the kids had to run down and back with a spoon balanced on an egg. The prize for winning that relay race was you got to eat the egg. And the crazy part was that these kids were so hungry that as soon as one of the children would cross the finish line, everyone would just swarm him. I mean, he would have probably a couple dozen kids surrounding him trying to get a bite of his hard-boiled egg as he broke it apart. And what was really cool to see was that he didn't run off into a corner and hoard the egg to himself or eat the whole thing or save it and take it home with him. Immediately, the first thing that all three of these boys did was crack the egg open and start handing out pieces to the other children around him. It was just really interesting and cool to see just the generosity that flowed out of these kids towards their peers. It was really powerful.
So, here from Kenya, we thank you for your encouragement and support, and we hope that you enjoyed this video.
Ruka